Welcome students. This is the lecture on chapter 1 and I'm going to call it the content lecture. Let me explain very briefly before I jump in. So here we are on the Moodle page, and you'll see that in the theory week, we have the slides here in the lecture notes. If you look at the slides, there's 55 slides. What I want to do is divide them into 3. So the first component is the case studies, video studies, and class discussion, which you do. And then I take care of the other 2, which I've done already here, the interactive slides. These are the key terms and concepts that I've done earlier. And those are the key terms and concepts that you have to use for your forums, practical projects, and research. And now this third component is the content, right? Remove those 2 and what's left. That's what we're doing. So just to put into content exactly what we're doing. Okay, so here we have the learning objectives. You always know that the first chapter of a book, it gives a brief overview of the whole book. So it's going to talk about why are information systems so essential to running and managing business today. So you can't have a business without some form of information systems, right? We have to define what information system is, how it works. And then why we think of it as management, organizations, and technology. Why is it 3 components and not 1? And we have to know what complementary assets, very important right here. And academic disciplines, we already talked about that, right? Okay, so these first 3 slides I'm going to talk about is something you already know. They're just going to put the scale, the scope of this, right? We all know IT is huge. So this book is talking about the US, but we can talk about the Belize context also. So in 2017, 140 million businesses had .com registered addresses. Most businesses in the US have a .com. There's 400,000 Americans, 3 out of 4 Americans are online, and about half of Americans purchase online. And since 2017, this has just increased, right? Now with the pandemic, this is just way increased, right? So everybody has a mobile phone, and everybody's on social networks. We already know all of this, right? So I don't know if you know about the social networking tools, but what are social networking tools? Just as we have Facebook and Twitter, you have actually a Facebook kind of thing that's used internally inside the organizations that organizations pay for. I don't know if you knew that, right? But there's a version of Facebook and many others that organizations pay for and are used only by their employees, only to successfully run their businesses, right? We use Google Apps Suite, for example, right? That would be one of ours, but there's our more social networking, right? Internet advertising, yes, continues to grow. That's how all of Google makes its money, through advertising, and all of Facebook, right? Okay, so very interesting. Again, this is the US, this is 2017, and it's saying that 33% of all investments that organizations make in the States is in IT. That's very high, right? So think about Belize. I don't think we're at that level, right? But this is always increasing. And if you know how to read this chart, 1,000 billion is a trillion. So that's going to be the answer right there for the next slide. And we're going to stop right there and continue after the question.